Rock Zone. Kawan J.
DJ One. It's the group, homie. The mixtape show. The mixtape show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mixtape Show. We are checking in live here. It's time for our Artist of the Week interview and working on some technical stuff here real quick. But checking in, man. Join us from New York City, man. It's a dope producer. We're going to get into all of that. And we're just going to see how the brother been doing, man. He goes by the name of Reelz, man. And welcome to the Mixtape Show, my brother. How you doing tonight, man?
All right. Thanks for having me. How's everybody tonight?
Good, brother. Good, man. We was talking about the weather, man. You guys having that weird weather too up there?
Yeah, man. Like, yeah. All right. So, for example, Saturday was 50. I went to, unfortunately, RIP to one of my guys, Preston Palmer. I had to go to attend the funeral Saturday. Mm-hmm. But at the funeral, to get my mind off of it, I was on my bike. Then Sunday, we had a snowstorm. Now, today, this is New York for you. It just bounces up and down.
Yeah.
It has definitely
Absolutely, man. And then for everybody out there, I'm trying to send them the link so his peoples can tap in. I just sent that to you, brother, so you can go and share that if you want. But yeah, man, just I was just noticing, I was checking out your bio, and I actually listened to the last project you released here, the instrumental joint. And shit, man, you've been in the studio since you've been a baby, huh, man?
Yeah. But it's funny how things happen like that. Like, I was one of those, my older brother, he had a rap group back in the days. The whole story is he had a group called Ultimate Force. Mm-hmm. And back that time, Guy was really popular. So they got signed by Guy, and then they was in the studio with Guy. I was the little brother that they would grab and take with me. Yeah. So I'm the little brother, and they're pressing buttons, getting my hands smacked, then cursing people out, and everybody's like, yo, cursing at 9, yo, that's funny. And it's hilarious. So and then from there, my brother got a lot of equipment started his own home studio. So he got his first SP-1200. He didn't have it a day before I erased all his sounds off of it. So learning experience. Older brother, sorry, I had to tell you to say it now. So, I erased you this. My bad. But from that experience, like, I just grew up around music, like from going to different studios, hearing and seeing how things was done, where people was actually recording on tape, to like starting my own little studio out of my house. At one point, it was out of my mama's basement at first. Mm-hmm. I was recording people in high school, where it was like a lot of people in high school was like, you got a studio? Yeah. And then they come see it, it's like, no, you really actually got something at that time, like early. So that's what I was doing back then, and it just escalated to, being in the right place at the right time, networking with people, having people that network with me, my boys, my fellow producers that I work with my team. Biz Beat, shout out to him, and my boy Go. Where with Biz, what it was one of the things that got me into the game really was he was doing some side work at a guy who worked for Universal at the time. Mm-hmm. So him air hustling, sitting there like, yo, they needed an engineer. He was like, yo, my boy engineers, we'll bring them down. Mm-hmm. So we in the studio that night, and then I pretty much was there for about 3 years, and I still work for him. I do things remotely, and it goes from there. Yeah, and you like me, man. You come from the analog era. You know what I'm saying? When equipment was heavy, and you had to carry all that stuff around, and you know what I'm saying? Bro, it was not a game. It's like, that's why I say the one thing is I shout out to DJs, because DJs back then had to carry stuff. Mm. And if you was in the studio, you had to carry your gear. You had to move them things around. Yeah. And it was, studio time was more, it was so much more things you had to do. It was more time spent, because tracking out beats wasn't as simple as, all right, you just move it from one CD. Oh, I'm dating myself. One flash drive to a computer. Back then, whatever equipment you had it on, whether it was an MP60 or XP50 from Roland, or if you was on an SP12 back in the day, you had 8 hours. You had 8 chances to lay your tracker. You was tracking those sounds individually. Yeah. So I mean, it was times where I was in the studio and I would spend 8 hours just tracking out 3 beats. Yeah. Then going back 8 hours putting the rappers on it. Then going back another 8 hours starting to mix, another 8 hours mastering. Come on now.
Yeah. Back then, engineering was just more than a title. It was a legit engineering. You had to make different machines talk to other machines You know what I'm saying, to get that sound. So same way, man. To this day, man, I still rock with turntables. So whenever I pull up and do events and DJ, people kind of look at me like, oh, he one of them old cats. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I respect that, man. Listen, the one thing I always tell people, like, for people who out there performing and when you're at shows and when you're around DJs, that's the number one person you need to meet when you're doing anything in this music business, because DJs they at one point was, before MCs was DJ, then the MC, then it got flipped to where it was like, all right, MCs, DJs who sing, then it became MC in front, DJ in the back, and then now it became producer, not even DJ anymore. Where you got to realize the people who spinning your records is not the producer, it's the DJ. So the first person you need to see whenever you check in anywhere, check out the DJ. Check out. That's the first person you need to speak to, because you need to know what's going on with the sound. You need to know who you need to check out in the town, and then you go from there. That's your number one networking right there. Because if you cool with the DJ, you'll get into every spot. You'll get your music played. Your music be played in places you ain't even know about because the DJ cool.
Exactly.
So, shout out.
That's what we always say. I always tell people that too. Let that DJ walk your music in that front door. You know what I'm saying? Just connect with him and let them do it for you.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the best way to walk into the door, and that's the best critic of music. Because if a DJ likes your music, that's saying a lot right there. Because honestly, DJs are, not to say the most finicky when it comes to music, but everybody has their choice. And when it comes down, they know what the people's gonna like. They have their ear to the street, so they know this is gonna go in the club, or this is not gonna go anywhere. It's gonna go on my driveway or on my shelf next to something else. And that's just it.
That's the part I miss. I do miss flinging CDs out the window and all that stuff. Now I just hit the delete button in the email. Oh, dope, man. So as a producer, engineer, and everything like that, man, a lot of people, and it's dope that you called this week, because early in the show we had Grand Wizard Rasheen, who's a Philly DJ, legendary Philly DJ. He he's the one who kind of helped bring up Jazzy Jeff and all of them, and behind the scenes kind of thing, right? As far as this music industry, this is the MC. You're another. So it's kind of like the theme of the show this week is you're another one who's behind the scenes, who's the architect behind that MC's or that singer's music. You know what I'm saying? It kind of goes. You go unappreciated sometimes. It's a thankless job.
It really is,
because they come into the studio, do what they do, and they out. But you got to do the cleanup after the fact. Talk about that, man. Talk about those extra hours that you got to put in a session that people may not understand that.
Listen, all right, the engineer is the most thankless job ever, because what it is we have to be able to relegate the room. We have to be able to control the room, make sure everybody's happy, make sure everybody's getting what they need to get, and they record it, make sure it's coming through right, translating right, and making sure we're being diplomatic about it. Because one thing about being an engineer is you can't be an engineer with an ego. You have to be able to translate these people, whoever artist music that's coming in there, you have to be able to be a conduit to translate their music. Now, sometimes, yes, you put your flavor to it in the mixing part of it, and the mastering part is little subtle things you do. But at the end of the day, you're trying to translate what that artist is trying to put out there, their vision, what they're trying to bring to the light, not necessarily what you want to put on there, not your tag, not your name. At the end of the day, you want your recognition for what you do, but it's a selfless job. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is recognizing talent, because sometimes you'll have talent that, because they may be shy or they may be a little bit introverted, you may have to talk to them a certain way to bring that talent out. Sometimes it's not about. Sometimes you may have to be a soft talker. Sometimes you may have people where you can just yell at them and they'll be like, "I got it," and they go on. And every person is different, so you have to. It's like you're playing part big brother, psychologist, father figure.
Coach.
It comes all encapsulated into this thing when you're doing it. And the beautiful thing about it is the relationships you build behind there. Because at the end of the day, when a person finds a good engineer, like a good producer, because I also produce music also, you find it's a relationship just like marriage, just like any other relationship. You have your ups and down times, but you have your times when you sit down, you talk, and you get to learn the person, you get to learn what makes them. And those bonds are created, and then it makes you a better producer as you're doing their music. Because you have in your mind when you're producing, you're like, all right, I know what they're feeling about this. So it might be a subject that I might have been talking about that'll trip something in your head, and you're like, yo, let me go work on this and produce this for that person.
Yeah.
So it's a thing being in the back. Oh, the other thing about it is that's so beautiful about being an engineer. Let's say you don't want to be in the forefront. Let's say you don't want to be that person in the light, but you want to make the money. You're an engineer and you're a producer. Well, you're 2/3 of a person making an album.
Yeah.
And then if you throw mastering into that, well, you got 75% of the game, and now you're looking at the artist like, well, bring your 25%, I got you for the rest of it, and we do what we do. So it's like at the end of the day, you try to make sure that the person who you're recording, you make sure you're comfortable. They make sure they're comfortable. And you make sure that what you can do is, well, you make sure that everybody's there to just get their goal right and get their song done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of cleaning up after the day. At the end of the day, it's like, whether it's the physical cleaning the studio, whether it's because, you know, sometimes people are messy, some people are not. Sometimes in this day and age, and this might be taboo for y'all rappers right now, it's the day of cleaning up y'all rappers, because a lot of y'all rappers are punch rappers.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is I can't get past 4 bars, let alone 2 bars. And we're not even talking mumbling. Let's not get it twisted. Mumble rappers can at least mumble through their whole song, because you don't have to understand. But we talking about dudes is like, I got bars. Typically, drill rappers, because a lot of times it's on the vibe of the song, it's on feel. So dudes are hop in, da-da-da-da-da-da, I stop, chop. Now, some dudes can hop in, get the next bar within a minute, half a minute. Sometimes they got the song written in their head. Then you have a lot of people that 8 hours later, you got a 16.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what a 16 is, people, that's typically like 50 seconds of a song.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like everybody's different. I love working with professionals for the fact that professionals, when you go in the studio, it's like this. There is none that. Their verses is their verses. They know it already. And then times where you have the people that, like I said, it's there, but it's just not there.
Yeah. I've been on both sides of that, where I'm sitting in a room and, like you said, they're punching in and punching out, and I'm like, are we really gonna sit here for 3 hours for this one song? But then, but I've been in a room too where the artists throughout the day, I hang with them and they're going through their process in their head, so they know once that light turns on when they're in the studio, they can knock it out. You know what I'm saying? All they gotta do is do their little ad libs, and then they good to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How long did it take you to really master the part of learning the room? Because, like you said, you got different personalities in that room. You got the artist. You may have another artist you may be featured with and all that. You kind of got to control all that, so everybody can get the best work. How long did it take you to really master that part, where within that first 10 or so minutes of that session starting, okay, you got to do this, you got to do this. You kind of got to direct that traffic.
So it's when I first started. Yeah, and it's one of those things like this. You got to be strong in your words and quick with your opinions and subtle on how you. So it's like you got to assess people really quick, and it's really, with me, it's the first 5 minutes. It's literally like how they vibe. Do they come in? Are they coming in drunk? They coming in high? They coming in clean? Let's just keep it real like that. Some people, they have to be, like I tell everybody, all due respect, some people have to be in a certain way to record songs. Typically when you drunk, it's not gonna be the best song. And I tell people, like, even when you're doing a song and like you're sipping through a song, I'm gonna let you know, like, you're getting to a point where it's not gonna work. Yeah. So with situations like that, you kind of gotta assess it like, all right, well, they paid their money, so they're gonna be here. But I'm also gonna be like, bro, listen, like, I want to get this song done, so let's get this song done, and y'all can go back and drink and chill while I'm mixing. That way, they're like, oh, all right, cool, yeah. That way, you're not looking over my shoulder mixing. You can listen to it. You can chill with your peoples. You can have your sip. You can relax. No need to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And sometimes people just need that smoke when me and Smoke, hey, you smoke all day, every day. We are 420 friendly.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like, everybody has their zone to relax. And that's the thing. It's like, at the end of the day, it's about making them comfortable in the room. Like, so my studio, for example, is like, it has a vibe where you walk in, first you get hit with the neon lights, then you see the old posters from 80s movies, and then 80s albums, and then 90s albums, and then you see your favorite rappers on the wall, then you see people signed on the door. So you feel like you in a throwback, like, yo, hold up, this feel like I'm supposed to be here. And then you get in the booth and it's like, oh, it's not somebody's closet. Oh, that's what's up. You know what I mean? It's the atmosphere. So the real thing about a studio and getting your room right and making sure people, like, you get respect in your room, make sure people have things to look at and be intrigued by in your room, so it throws them off. That's one thing. Secondly, just be cool with people. Like, sometimes you got to read the energy. Some people are quiet, some people are not. Introduce yourself. Hey, how you doing? Chill. Slap it up. And then you get to record it. And then you go from there. Now, the funny thing about that question that you asked is about as far as the rooms, it's like it's a double standard to it too, because sometimes as an engineer starting, and you have an artist that's a multi Grammy'd out artist, or multi-platinum artist, or they got a few gold albums, or they're Kanye coming off of like their second album. Like, when you get ego like that and you're the engineer, your job is to be like, okay, catch everything they saying, don't fuck up. Yeah. And that's just it. Like, they will love you for that. Yeah. The minute you start saying, yo, hey, can you adjust it? Nah, capture them and always be ready to capture them in a moment. That's the whole thing. Yeah. Everything about planning and precision, man. That's it.
So when you deal with the different egos, the actual work itself, when that artist gets in their zone, is that when the ego checks out for you? Do you see that more times than often? I mean, you got your crew, you got your team in the room, they got to act a certain way, but when it's time to really, really get the work, is that when the ego kind of goes to the side and they just get the work?
Well, it depends on how many people in the room. Gotcha. So, it's all about the entourage. If, like, whenever you recording a person, let's say you got one or two people, right? Normally, it's cool because that vibe is those two people know each other. You vibing amongst them. That's that. The minute you throw entourage in, women, liquor, niggas, it's niggas that don't rap that's trying to tell you, yo, son, that shit ain't right. And I'm the engineer, and I'm like, yo, everything got captured. And then I have to, even though he heard his boy, he's like, yo, yeah, I got to do it over. And I'm like, well, no, you don't have to do it over. Take a listen back. And then I have to subtly, like, maneuver it away for to make them understand, like, nah, that was a good take. Listen to it. Yeah. And if we do hear an imperfection in that take, all right, cool. But at least we listened to it first before your boy had to say over it. And you just rolled with your boy. Yeah. So it's little things like that. I mean, biggest thing in studios, I kid you not, is always going to be women. It is always going to be the funniest thing, because women, I love y'all in all due respect. As an artist, y'all get pressured in the studio in the wrong ways. And then you have some artists that do that pressure to get what they want out of the studio. And then you have your groupies. So let's just talk about the groupies in the studio. That becomes a thing because guys want to impress the groupies. Nobody wants to be played. And if you're an artist and you trying to spit your bars, but your man might be cool and might be slick with his game with chicks and you're not, you see some things happen with these artists. You see artist egos go out the way. Yeah. I've been at video shoots where dudes have literally just dropped this single. They got like 500K. They climbing in the charts on YouTube. Not in the charts, but they climbing on YouTube. And they're at the next video shoot. And they're like, well, why doesn't nobody know me? Well, I don't even know you either. Yeah. Guess what? Your ego is why nobody knows you, because you're not even humble enough to introduce yourself to make sure everybody knows you in the room, whether it's 10 people, 5 people, whoever it is, because you never know who you in the room with. And this dude, again, the dude was like, yo, well, I just dropped this, single was banging. I don't bring names up. Single was banging. Everything's good. But the reality of it is, it's like, your single's hot, but you have to get to the next one. And the next one happened to be the video shoot you was at, that you're like, well, nobody knows me. you have to be humble to be like, well, I'm here. Let me just do this. Let me chill. Let me play the part. And then you go from there. You'll realize in this game, being humble and hungry and get you further than being smart mouth and arrogant.
Absolutely. You want to make everybody in the room feel comfortable around you. You know, so you never want to be the new guy in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, there was a time and age for bully tactics. That was the early 90s. And I mean, shit still goes on now.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, you don't hear as much about it, but there was artists out there moving a certain way to make sure their stuff got played, and that was that. But I mean, we've got to a better place where it's like this: everybody's on a no bully, new agenda. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But on the same note, it's one of those things that at the end of the day, it made music a lot easier, where people feel pressed or feel easier to talk about anybody. So it's just a crazy game.
Definitely, man. So let's get into you, man. Let's get into Reelz, man. What you been working on? I know we was talking about the project earlier that you just recently dropped. The instrumental joint that was dope. You know what I'm saying? Good work on that one.
So I just dropped those 3, just teaser to go out there. Every Halloween for the last 2 years, me and my boys been putting out Nightmare on Beat Street. There's 2 volumes out. Y'all can go check that out on iTunes, Spotify, and any streaming platform. So we got that going on. Y'all can also check that out on my website, rmgstudio.nyc. Now for this year, what we got going on, we got my boy Snooze Daily. Please Google him. Upcoming artist from New York, working heavy with Phantom on the beat. Please Google that guy.
That old Lord joint is crazy. I know that's part of your resume too. Yeah.
yeah. On my resume. Yeah, I happen to I mixed that. Yeah, that's my boy. So yeah, I mean, we've done that. We're moving on to bigger and better things. Gotta check out my boy Jamar Milton. Please Google him. That's another guy I'm working with right now. We're working on some more projects in the works. Please Google my boy, my fellow producers, Biz Beat at Biz Beats on Instagram, and my other boy Go Zella at Let's Hit Go Zella on Instagram. Yo, we're working on projects for the summer. It's like everything we're looking at summer based. We're looking at not just dropping things here and there, just drop what drops, promote it right, and then go from there.
And then you got your recording home. What's in the studio and everything? How's that going for you guys? I know that's home team right there, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful because it's like we record here, and we also go to, it's always about learning. So with me, I like going to different spots, talking to different other engineers, learning from them, showing them things, and goes from there too. So a lot of times I encourage artists, even my own, go to different spots, hear what the quality is, figure out if you like, if you don't like, see we can improve that, and then we come back here, we map things out, and we go from here. Like me and Snooze really built this from ground up a few years back, where it was like we had the studio. It was like, all right, okay, a little bit of equipment, and started adding on from there. As I'm adding on and recording him, it went from him recording 2 songs a week to we have over 1,000 songs over in maybe 2 or 3 years. Where now it's like it's so many songs in the catalog where it's just like, all right, you can take this, put this here, take this, put this here, and it's just the fact of right now getting the videos done and getting them. Nice. That's it.
What's the name of the studio too? So we want you to plug that. The name of the studio and location. How can we tap into that?
Well, RMG Studio, rmg.studio, rmgstudio.nyc. So Instagram at rmg.studio, rmgstudio.nyc on the website. And we're located in Queens, New York, right in Laurelton. So y'all can tap in. Y'all can definitely tap in on the website. Y'all can book directly from there. Y'all can hit me on my phone, 347-869-6774. Hit me up. Let me know what's what. Book your time. $50 an hour for studio time. Mastering songs, we do it at $75 an hour. And then we go from there. And the place is really cool and low-key. It's one of those places that come in, bring your peoples if you want to. I encourage artists to come in, bring don't have to bring everybody. Bring or 2 or 3 people. Chill, have a little drink, have a little bud. We chill, we look back, we get this music done, we sit back, we make it. And it's about, I tell people, baby steps, one song at a time. Why one at a time? Because people say, let's get this one done, this one done, this one done, this one done, right? And it's like, you're recording 4 songs, but you're not mixing one or mastering one. And in 4 weeks, you're going to have 4 undone songs. Meanwhile, you record with me, in 4 weeks, you're probably going to have 8 songs done because we end up doing 2 songs a week. Yeah. And that's like 2 hours a day, basically. Hour of recording, out with for mixing, and then the other mixing process, I can sit on a song and mix for 2 to 8 hours. I can mix for a day or 2 days. It really depends on how far or how deep we need to go.
Dope. I tell you what, brother. I'm a transplant here in Dallas, but originally from New York, and born and raised out there in Far Rocking, but Queens. I got family in Queensbridge, so I'm always back and forth when I do travels coming back. Me and my team come out there a lot to do some networking, and I think we may have just found us a studio home. So I'm definitely tap in with you, and that'll be dope. So whenever we get our itinerary going, I'm gonna reach out to you, and then we'll get something set up, because we was out there last time. We was kind of figuring some things out, and then we didn't do any recording like that. But that was in the back of our mind. Like, next time we come here, we got to have a place to record, because we never know who we gonna meet. So we got to at least book some time and have that ready for us just in case, because we can always record music. So it's definitely I'm gonna definitely have to link up for real on the real on that.
Absolutely. I'm here for all of that, man. That's why. One thing, the reason I made the studio the way I made it is for that fact of sometimes you got to come through, you got to chill. Hey, you may have to spend a night. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's like I set it up like a house, so it's one of those things where it's like, yo, come chill, hang out, grab some food. It is what it is.
Definitely, yeah. I'm gonna definitely reach out for that, man, because like I said, we got our little itinerary putting together to come up there, spring, summertime. So I'll let you know way ahead of time so we can get that locked in and everything.
Cool.
So we got the team working. We got some joints going. Snooze doing his thing. What else you want to knock out, man? That may not be on the board, but what's some things you say, hey, that's kind of down the road, but I definitely wouldn't mind tapping into that and starting that this year.
Well, right now I'm going heavy into looking into the NFTs, man. Like, I advise everybody in this music game, like, look at what Tory Lanez did and praise that guy and kind of go from there. Like, that man did, like, what was it, $1 million in like 18 minutes, something like that. All right, he's a known artist. Why isn't anybody else getting that money? At the end of the day, you don't need record labels anymore. The only time you need a record label these days for the distribution. Honestly, your own following, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you can distribute your own, and then you go from there. So I mean, it's like, you get your following, pass your music out. What you need a label for? Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. Where it's just like, I'm working on making sure that everything that I do, money's coming back, whether it's through an NFT, whether it's through distribution that I can deal with, that I'm one-on-one with the people, and I'm going from there. Yeah,
that's definitely the move, man. Like I said, I think the way the music industry is taking on the NFT thing, it's a learning process, right? We trying to figure out how to make that work in our favor. So it's definitely an interesting thing that I've been paying attention to too, as far as the NFTs and everything. I know Skyzoo's kind of getting into it a little bit. I think he's doing, I know first he's doing trading cards first, and I think that's going to be a bridge to the NFT situation for him with his business. So it's definitely, the pendulum's coming back to the artists now, where we can take advantage of making money off of our artwork somehow, right? So it's definitely going to be dope to see what we got going on for that, man. Who you want to shout out, brother? Anybody else on the team you want to shout out, or anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
Plenty of people I want to shout out. Got to shout out Conehead, Lakeview, New York. That's Kane Sparks. That's my man Limelight Schemes. I got to shout out my boy Just Call Me Al. Please Google him. We have the Al Taylor project that's going to be dropping. That's also something I'm working on in engineering. He's going to be floating around doing everything, and you're going to be seeing him soon. Shout out my boy DC from Central Station, the clothing, the brand. Anytime you in New York, especially these Long Island guys, anytime you in Long Island, you feel like I don't have anything to represent myself for Long Island, go check my man DC and go check him at the store. Pretty much that's really it, man. I'm just out here trying to work, trying to make sure my people and my guys are winning. Let me see. So I got Just Call Me Out. I got Snooze out the my peoples. If I miss you, my bad. You know who y'all are. Oh, my girl Lively, gotta shout you out. My boy Biz Beats. Please Google Biz Beats. He's part of the team. My boy Go Zella. Like, that's one thing I do want to talk about real quick as far as producing in this game. So it's weird in this game now. Like, it's great to have body. Like, if you get a big placement, that's great. But I tell producers, when you're hungry in the game, look for artists. That's one thing I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for artists because what I'm trying to do is find that right match to put music out. I've had success in the past. I've had some guys some people get on with major artists. Had a few people get on with designer. Oh, got to shout out my boy Classic, my boy DJ Prime from RTC out of Queens. Also, they got a new video you need to check out on YouTube. Got to hit them up. You got to see that. But what I've learned with them is like, yo, networking.
Mm-hmm.
They got a video with designer. They got joints with Troy Ave, and they still are. Some people will be like, well, they're local. They're still making their buzz.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, he as a producer, hook up with those people because your beats will be on there. Next thing you know, your beats is out there. And with me, it's like I'm engineering it just so my stamp of my sound is on there, so to speak. I'm engineering, and that's giving me different looks and different avenues to touch other people when it comes to this game.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I got to say about producers, find an artist, network. And then the main thing with producers, if you're not out there in them streets, pounding the street with your artist, you're doing half the job. It's great to sit home, create the beat, but you also have to create the buzz. You have to create the people to come around you and see what you're talking about. If you're not a good talker sometimes, get the people around you that are good talkers. Like, for me, sometimes I'm subtly quiet. Why? Because I'm a person. I measure the room. If I don't like certain energy in the room, I'm quiet in the motherfucker. But if I fucks with you, and you know I mean, and people all day like, yo, your boy Real was good with him. Like, nah, I'm studying the room. Mm-hmm. And once I know you, I found this, hey, and then you see like, oh, no, this nigga cool as shit. But one thing is, again, if you're not that person that's quick to be like, hey, what's going on? Ha, ha, ha. Mm-hmm. Have somebody that is that spark, that light bulb. So that when it does get passed over to you, it's like you just doing a relay real quick. You completing a layup quick. Like, oh, my boy, talking. Yeah, I'm Real. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I engineer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I produced. Oh, you heard it? All right, cool. Coming through. All right, bet. Yeah. Let's talk it for me. Get to a one-on-one meet me. It's like, oh, you cool as shit.
Yeah.
So again, it's all about creating relationships and network.
That's me, man.
So
I call that connecting the dots. I like to do that too. Like I said, I got this platform to show and the station and everything. And if I hear something, I'll say, oh, this is a good look for my man over here. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Let me do this, do that. So I'm always doing that and trying to connect those dots because I want to see everybody win at the end of the day. So definitely is
absolutely
dope, man. And real quick before we get out of here, man, I wanted to tap on Long Island. So those who don't live in the immediate New York area may not be familiar how there's New York City, you know what I'm saying, hip hop. And then there's Long Island, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of, to me, it's the equivalent of how Buffalo is treated, you know what I'm saying, compared to New York City. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like they got their own thing out there. And Long Island is similar to that, too, where it's kind of like, it's New York, but it's Long Island. You know what I'm saying?
You nailed that.
Uh-huh.
You really nailed that. And then the funny thing out of Long Island, you have some of the hottest artists like Rakim, Long Island, EPMD, Long Island. Public Enemy, Long Island. I mean, Method Man, Hempstead, Long Island. Prodigy, Hempstead, Long Island. I mean, we could do Reek the Villain, Long Island. Busta Rhymes, Uniondale, Long Island. And then, all right, and here's the funny thing about Long Island, right? You got people from Brooklyn and Queens. Now, Brooklyn and Queens are boroughs, but they're on Long Island. Now, peep game, this is going to give me a lot of arguments in New York. There are no bodies of water between Queens and Brooklyn, Nassau and Suffolk. It's all on the same island. But if you ask anybody from Brooklyn and Queens, do you live on Long Island? They would tell you, no, I live in Queens, I live in Brooklyn. This is the logic. This is how hip hop got spread up. This is how people's minds got split up by territories. This is the problem with Long Island. You know, Long Island has so many vast sounds. But like New York, we don't know how to stick together.
Yeah.
We're the sixth borough, forever thorough. Yeah. Not Staten Island. Staten Island is the forgotten borough. We're the thorough one. It's weird like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like there's so much talent. There's so many veins of talent from Long Island. Shit, I'm from Long Island. I'm from Roosevelt. Eddie Murphy, Dr. J, Howard Stern, me, Al Taylor, Jamar Milton. I can go on and on. We have superstars in my town. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like that small town, because of how he's raised up, it's like we're territorial. It's kind of like how the West Coast is to a certain degree. And I tell everybody, the funny thing is you get older, then you start to realize that's bullshit. Yo, let me start connecting with people. There's people that 20 years ago I was probably in rap battles with that, yo, we was going, at each other like, y'all don't like this nigga. Want some battle shit that I call him now. Yo, what up?
Yeah.
Yo, what's good? And that's how crazy music was back then. It was taken a lot more serious back then.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. You in a battle, you will get punched in your shit. It is what it is. Shout out to my man E&J. I know he hates when I do that. Shout out to my man Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I say Long Island is one of those places where we create moments, we create a lot of talent. And the thing about it is all we got to do to win is stick together. And there's so much talent out there right now that even now, dudes is bickering over little shit where it's like, yo, if this dude hopped in the studio with this dude and you use his following, y'all use y'all following together, do you know we ain't need anybody else? You can make everybody come to us.
Yeah.
Like, that's the blueprint. The blueprint is get everybody that fucks with you to follow you. Yeah. Get your email. Yo, emails is great. Like, emails and IG. If you can't, a lot of people, when they go on the street, you're talking to a person, you may not want to get their phone number. Get their Instagram. It's the easiest thing. Girls to give out their Instagram before they give out their real phone number in a heartbeat. Yeah. And let your Instagram pop it. They will be like, yo, what's your phone number though? Yeah. Let me find out. Yeah. So you got these things and these tools for your advantage and really let it pop for you.
Absolutely, man. I always said that too, Long Island, if they use that Atlanta formula, it'd be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody put everybody on. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. That's why I tell people, if you fuck me and you fucks with my team, you see how we move it. It's people in Long Island, it's like it's weird because people are starting now to put it together like, oh, this guy knows this guy. Like Snooze messes with Reelz. Real messes with Jamal. Jamal messes with Al. Oh, now they all had a group together back in the day. Oh, this one's related to my boy Enigma. Shout out to my boy Enigma. DJ Enigma, that's another one of my guys who his brothers, DJ LS1, DJ Dummy. So it's Long Island. So it's one of those things again where it's just like these little connections and within 1 square mile is what made my life the fun it is. But the same note, these are the people I deal with. Yeah. So it's the connections. It's like, with that being said, it's like, yo, it's not a place in music I can't really get my hands or touch to because it's just a phone call of connected to the right person who's going to connect the dots to the next.
Absolutely, brother. Well, man, this has been a great talk, brother. And like I said, whenever we make out, and I'll get your information here off air once we get off here. But I think we found a home recording wise for me and my people. So I definitely want to connect you to them and everything like that. And even if I'm not in town, I want them to be able to have that access to be, you know, hey, I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? Be professionals too. We ain't gonna come through smoking and drinking and women. You know, I'm a married man, so that ain't happening.
See, that much easier. Like, I know you got a wife at home. I ain't gonna tell them.
I got a wife and kids. I ain't got time for all that, brother.
We ain't gonna do
so once again, man, plug the studio, brother, just in case. So we got some artists out there listening who may be in the area want to tap in.
Yeah. Listen, if you're in Queens or the New York 5 boroughs or on Long Island, hell or heaven, RMG Studio located right in Lawton. Come check me out. $50 an hour, $75 for mastering. Hit me on my phone number 347-869-6774. Hit me up. Talk. We'll set up something. We'll get you recorded. Instagram, rng.studio, dot meaning period. Don't spell out period. Just put the damn dot. So rng.studio. No S on the end of studio. That's it. Just a studio. A singular one. Just one place.
There we go. He goes by the name of Reelz. We definitely going to be spinning those records. When those records are ready, man, I'll give y'all information to send those records to us so we can give us some spins and break these records. And anybody on the team too, man, if they looking to do some interviews and everything, we'll connect and then bring them on and open up the doors, man. This is home for you and the rest of the squad, man.
I appreciate that, brother. Same here.
All right, let's hold on just a second. Let's get in a couple more records before we close out the night. The homie Reelz checking in from the Mixtape Show. We'll be right back.